Thanks for joining me. Today, I am excited to sit down with Robin Fleming. She is one of our blog writers here at the Community Builders blog and has also been volunteering with us here at LoveINC of Clackamas County since 2023, not long after I started working here. And she was one of our original blog writers, been with us since we started this blog in 2025. And yeah, we're excited to sit down. Robin, thanks for joining me today.
I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
to have you. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how we contextualize the LoveINC model and actually put it into practice here in Clackamas County, in our community with our partner churches. And I know that you serve in a variety of roles here, but you also don't necessarily have a full picture of the whole LoveINC of Clackamas County affiliate, which is fine. We just want to kind of get an idea from your perspective, what you do see. How does the LoveINC model of, connecting local churches, mobilizing them to meet the needs of our neighbors and transform their lives, how does that get played out in our community here, kind of more practically, more tangibly? And so, yeah, before we get into it, can you share with us a little bit about your role here at our LoveINC affiliate, what you do, what you've been doing with us?
Well, I guess the first thing I do is I don't even know the official title. I do intakes. Yes. So we have people reaching out for requesting help, requesting resources, and I call those people back, and I go through the application with them, have some in-depth conversation with them about different areas of their life, and then hopefully that results in putting in an order for some resources for them to receive from one of the churches. So I do that, and then I'm part of the Healthy Habits program, and my role is to facilitate one of the classes that we offer. Those are the two primary things. There's been the blog writing off and on and doing those, but those are my main jobs. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. So to get into our discussion now, what happens when somebody calls our Connection Center? They get a hold of you. What happens when they call in? How does that process work?
Their first connection typically is with a receptionist who'll just take down some basic information and find out what their primary request is. And then when they talk with me or with one of the other intake people, then I guess it seems really important to say that one of the first things we do after is kind of clue them in on what the process is going to be or the conversation is going to be like. So we let them know that we're not an emergency service, so that they're not expecting same day kinds of responses. And also we let them know that I tell them I'm going to ask them questions from various parts of their lives, because we're interested in them as being valuable beyond their stuff, as important as those things are that they might be needing. So there will be questions coming from the relational side of their lives and spiritual and emotional components too. So kind of clue them in. So then we have a conversation that taps into all of those areas, and people are responsive to that to various degrees. Some people are super open because they've got an ear, somebody that's interested in them, and they'll tell you a lot of their life story. And then some people just kind of feed you little bits at a time because they don't feel that secure or desiring to tell everything. But that happens. And then if an appointment is made for them to be able to pick up some resources, part of that process will also include reaching out to a couple of people from that person's world who can simply serve as kind of a reference and say, oh, yes, this person has some need. I'm glad to see you support them. It's a bit of verification of need there, and it's also a way to encourage that person that we're serving to draw on the support of the people that they already have in their network.
Yeah. Do you feel like the people calling in for the support having to give you references, does that generally go over smoothly, or are people kind of like, whoa, I don't know about that?
I think I could say the vast majority of people seem to be pretty good with it. There's a smaller percentage who have some questions about it, like, why do I do this? There's a small percentage that give a little pushback, but then they'll go ahead and they'll say, okay. And then there's a very small percentage that say that's going too far, that you're making this process too hard, or that feels invasive. And so then they'll stop the process. But that's a tiny percentage. I've been in this role for like 2.5 years, getting close to 3. And I've had, probably I could count on one hand the number of people that have actually backed out at that point. Yeah. About that many. Yeah.
You talked about, getting them resources to help them. What kinds of needs are we able to help? What kinds of resources can we provide, and what resources are maybe a little bit more difficult for us to provide? Because ideally, right, through our church network, we can supply for every need, but what does that actually look like in reality?
So I feel good about what we're doing, and yet this question makes me sad kind of to answer, because the list of what we're able to offer feels short to me. Yeah. So it is great. We have a partnership with a church that has a furniture warehouse, and that's got all kinds of things in it that are donated. So actual furniture and bedding, kitchen supplies, and so forth. Shoes, primarily for kids. We have that ministry. We have what's called a care pantry, and it has cleaning and hygiene supplies. And then we have kind of a partnership with a church in the area that where this couple oversees collecting, cleaning, and loaning out for free reusable medical supplies, so walkers and wheelchairs and that kind of thing. Those are the things that we're more consistently able to supply. The things that we can't supply, rent assistance, utility assistance, other financial aid like that, because we don't have any church partners that have said we want to take that on, and we have the resources and we'll do that. So we're not able to do that. We also are not able to consistently provide services like transportation, yard work, house cleaning, organizational help, car repair. We've talked about those things. We would love to do that because there's some need out there, but we're not able to do that.
Yeah, I think we've had 1 or 2 stories with like yard work or a ride a few times where it's been,
or help
we've
with
been
the
able
move.
to find, a church is like, oh yeah, we could help with that. Send a few people to do that, which has been awesome. But yeah, that consistency has definitely not been where we would love to see it.
When I get a call like that, so I will ask the person if I can put them on hold so I can talk with my team. And then I talk with the 1 or 2 people around me that have more say-so in that area to see if we can go ahead and pursue that for this person, if it's more of a service request like that. But it's not yet to the point where it's a given.
Right. Yeah, it takes some like, hey, let's check in. Let's see who's available. And even then, I know sometimes it takes a while to find a church that's willing to help out.
And work out the logistics.
Yeah, and then we have to, call this person and call that person. Okay, you guys talk to each other. And, it's a lot of organizing for sure. A lot of connecting people. So. Okay. So from your knowledge, how are items collected and dispersed through partner churches? Like, obviously the furniture warehouse, that's one that's constantly doing that. But what does that process look like from what you know?
I'm not 100% familiar with the collecting of items. I know that churches or certain like Bible studies or small groups within churches will say, hey, we want to help meet a particular need, and they'll donate.
Yeah.
And then also sometimes a specific need is put out because it just happens to not, like a pair of shoes that's a size 14, and that'll then an email will go out to certain churches until somebody says, hey, we want to take this on. And then the dispersal, the ideal is, and this happens in part right now with the ministries that we are involved with, the ideal is that the church that has taken on that particular gap, that need, says, okay, here's our availability, here's the amount of resource we have, here's when we are available for appointments for people to come and pick up those items. And then we do, in the call center, the connection center, we do the actual appointment making based on the information we've been given. Was that clear?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Totally. Well,
actually, so do you know more than I do? What details am I leaving out as far as the collecting?
Yeah. So I know we do get a lot of people wanting to donate to us through our website. We have a form on our website, or people call in too. And I think sometimes people have this idea that we're kind of like Goodwill, we'll take any donations, just come dropping off whenever. And it's like, oh, no, sorry, because we don't keep hardly that much here, and we're very specific because the things we give out, we want to give out the best quality stuff. And, obviously a lot of the furniture household stuff is used because that stuff's not cheap. Not a lot of people are buying brand new couches to donate. But we do get, still good quality stuff like that. And it's always going to okay, which church is doing this ministry, housing it. Our care pantry is something that currently is housed in our offices. But we do have a church in Gladstone that for a time, they're kind of on pause now. They started for a little bit. Now they're on pause, waiting to get a few more volunteers, but they were doing a care pantry as well. So they were collecting those items. And the ideal in that situation, and what they were starting to do was that church was like, this is our thing. We're going to collect these items ourselves. And we, they'd reach out to us for, when they needed some more items, they were running low and nobody could bring it in at the time. But generally, the ideal is that church is kind of maintaining that supply of things and able to meet those needs practically through their church and then through our network of churches, because no one church is expected to do everything. That's what the network is there for. Just dispersing the items. It usually is, an appointment. Come show up. We'll have your things ready, or you can pick your stuff out. Especially furniture. It's okay. Let's walk around. Here's what we have. What would you need? Oh, we have this. We have that. Sometimes though, we've had times where we've had to, not often, but we've had times where we had to bring stuff to people at their house because they don't have transportation or can't go places really. And so there's times where we've done that. It's been a bit less common, but things like that as well. Yeah. And a lot of those more consistent needs we provide for are met through our gap ministries is what we call them, because there's a gap in those services in our community. So there's not many other places, definitely not in Clackamas County, you can get furniture for free. But we fill that gap. Our care pantry is items that, from my knowledge, you can't buy with food stamps, but are still essentials, hygiene, cleaning products. And so we fill that gap as well. And so that's why we call it a gap ministry. But yeah, so my next question I'm curious about is what happens when somebody calls in, these are the things, this is the support I'm needing, and we don't have the means to meet that need. What does that look like? Do we just, all right, sorry, or how do you guys work with that person in that instance?
We offer compassion. Just feel with them, because we can't. We have a couple of binders that are full of resources. And so where possible, we'll offer resources that that person can investigate themselves. So usually it's saying, well, there's this place and here's their phone number. There's this place, here's their phone number. I just did that today for somebody who ended up not really wanting any of the gap items that we are able to offer, but did want the a list of referrals to food pantries in their area. And so I was able to give a long list of those that were within relatively easy driving distance and the phone numbers so they could explore that. And that was encouraging to them. So we do that. And sometimes and I don't think I can think of a specific one right now, but once in a while, and this is not rare, once in a while there will be a request for something where we just don't know where to send people. And so all we can say is, I'm sorry, I know that's a need, and we just don't know where you can find that. So sometimes we're not even able to offer a referral. Always with people, we offer to pray with them. And a lot of people actually just are very encouraged by that. It's not meeting the need in the moment, but it's walking with them in it, sitting with them in it, and it's going to the ultimate source. And so we do that.
Yeah, those limitations are definitely hard because we have a big heart that we want to be able to meet every need. And
one other thing that we're able to do sometimes is just do a little brainstorming with the person about another way that they could approach the situation. So they might not be able to get a particular need met in the usual way, but there might be another way to manage their world where they can.
I know sometimes in the past we've said, we might not be able to pay your utility bill, but we can maybe offset some costs with
that
care
for
pantry
sure.
that could help for that bill and things like that.
Yeah.
Which isn't, maybe the best, most ideal, but it's some kind of support for them. So.
And I know we probably are going to get into this, but we do, with most people, tell them about our Healthy Habits program.
That's a perfect segue. Yeah.
And that is really, the Healthy Habits program is about, it's a set of classes that we're adding to and hoping to add to and add to more and more down the road. And those classes involve life skills and perspectives about self and about life and about relationships and possessions and so forth. And so, the classes don't typically help a person meet an immediate need, but it's helping them become equipped to manage their life in a way that maybe it will be more fruitful, more healthy than it was.
Yeah, more focused on like long term.
Yes,
let's get you in a better place so that you're hopefully not back here in a month or two or year or whatever.
Which is really what our outlook is at LoveINC.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
It's not because we don't care about emergency needs. But we aren't here for that purpose. We really are here to help.
Yeah. Like we know those emergencies exist. But there's also a lot of people out there who do exist for those emergency needs.
Yes.
And we see our place as a little different. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. From your experience and understanding, because I know you were previously a part of a different LoveINC affiliate and you got to see a little bit of their, what we call healthy habits classes. Nationally, it's more known as like a transformational ministry kind of thing, where basically just providing more classes, more context for relationships and long-term support. How have you seen that? How is that uniquely adapted in our setting in Clackamas County versus maybe what you've seen elsewhere, or maybe just the general what you heard about it initially?
Yeah. First of all, my experience at another LoveINC was similar in the program. I facilitated 2 of the classes. One that I facilitate here and another one that we are going to be offering additionally in the fall. And so I did intakes. So I had the same kinds of roles there. And what is the same is the care about people, the big picture, the long-term picture. What is different that stands out to me is just the personalities behind it. So I was thinking about how each Love Inc. Has its own DNA. And we've actually talked about that here. We've had conversations about how we build the Healthy Habits program in a way that suits who we are. So, we have certain personalities at the helm in different ways, and also just at all the levels of volunteering. And so that is not specific about what makes us different, but it is just that we're not, I guess what I appreciate is we have some role models to look at.
That's true.
But I think there's been a realization that we don't have to become them, that we can take what is good, but then it's going to be shaped according to how we are, how God has made us to be, to interact with people.
Yeah, I know from what I saw from the program in the first year that it was going, that where I was, kind of a part of it here and there and came to help out and support. It seemed like the way in which it was just a very tight-knit community. We had seen, I know our other Robin Keating and Stuart, they got to see how a LoveINC in Boise, where they had been doing it for 2 decades, how they ran it, the size of it, the volume of it, the different ways they supported people, the different classes and things they taught. And it was like, okay, well, that's what we got. And we got here, and it was like, nope, that's not how it's going to be, especially not starting off brand new. What is this? What are we doing? I think we've had a lot of high expectations where it's like we've got 20, 30, 50 people who are like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And the number ends up being a lot smaller than we always hope. I think the actual follow through is sometimes challenging. But the tight knit groups that come out, it sounds like God is doing amazing work in these groups of people, that it's maybe different than our initial expectations, but God always surprises us for the best in these different classes in these, 4 sessions we've had of this now. So
I agree with you. And I have felt sort of a dropping of my shoulders with that, because the program in Treasure Valley sounds phenomenal. I've not observed it, but I've heard all the reports. And and feeling like that, for me, feeling like that's what we were chasing in a way. Not that it can't happen. The Holy Spirit can do way more than we can ask, but that just felt overwhelming. And then, like you said, the small groups that we've ended up with, these small groups of people coming through, it's been heartwarming. It's been encouraging. And I, especially this last time around with the spring program, just had that realization at a starker level that the one person, the 2 people, the 5 people where you're seeing actual transformation happen, they matter. So if it's not 50 people taking a class, for that handful that are taking the classes, and then we are actually seeing a dawning interest in spiritual things, or realization that God loves them, or new understandings of how to manage some things financially that have opened up some freedom for them. Like, for those people, it matters. That matters. That's what we want to do. So if God forever keeps us smaller, whatever that means, but people's lives are transformed, and they have healthier families, and they are making wiser decisions, and they're walking in more freedom, what else do you want?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I love that. And I also do think that largely because of Stuart and he's visionary.
Yeah, very much so.
He's not doing everything alone, so he's well supported. But anyway, whatever all the factors are, just that there's always okay, and what's the next thing that will make us connect with people better, whether it's reaching churches to become partners, or more people in a community drawing them in, or whatever. I'm not a visionary by nature, and working around people that are thinking forward like that and continually asking the questions is has been stretching for me, and it's a great environment to be in.
Yeah. That's great. Well, we've been happy to have you a part of this
Thank you.
affiliate, and you've been, I mean, so much more than just somebody helping out, but a foundational part of what we've been able to do here in the few years and where this is going. So thank you for being a part of that.
It's a privilege to be here. I love everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week, and keep an eye out for part 2 of this discussion. That'll come. We're going to have some other guests come on to kind of share how they see, because everyone a part of LoveINC has a different slice of what we do and what they see and how we impact the community. So keep an eye out for part 2 in a couple of weeks. And yeah, thank you so much. Make sure you check out the blog post accompanying this video to hear more of our thoughts on this conversation and this topic. And make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Have a great week.